welcome to this edition of the BraudCast, where we give you bite-sized bits of best practices to help you be a better leader and a more effective communicator. I'm Gerard Braud. Earlier this week, we asked this question to you: how quickly do you need to post a public statement when a crisis happens? You were kind enough to go online and offer some observations. Here are some of the ones that we found interesting. Beth says with social media, you need to make a statement immediately. She says you don't have to give details, but you need to acknowledge that a situation has happened before someone else calls it out on social media. That's an interesting observation. We're going to talk more about it because that also creates some problems you need to be aware of. Isaac says he likes to keep a steady drumbeat going on Twitter with tweets every 2 to 4 minutes. Interesting, sometimes that works, sometimes not. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Brian says it depends on the crisis. If a factory blows up, he says a statement goes out as soon as everyone is accounted for. Interesting, but I would actually put out a statement before everyone is accounted for. Brian also says if it's something like a tax investigation, there's no need to make a statement quickly if it hasn't gone public, which is true. Brianna says do it in 90 minutes. Heather says 1 hour, and David says definitely less than 1 hour. Let's start with the timeline. My own practice in my own crisis communications plans is 1 hour or less of the onset of the crisis is when a statement should go out. Now, here's the situation. If you post it to social media too fast, it's kind of like sending a 911 call out to the media. You could draw media to the story and draw media to your crisis faster than you're ready to communicate with them. Yes, it is true that someone else could be posting it on social media. So it kind of depends on the nature of that crisis as to whether or not you immediately post to social media. Ideally, in the first hour of the crisis, in the plan, there should be something called a first critical statement. It says we know something is happening and we're collecting more information, and that can be posted online. It can be tweeted out, and it can be read to the media if the media are standing outside your facility by the public relations person. That is in the manual. It takes about 3 to 8 minutes to customize it and to get it out the door. So that's pretty fast. As far as the constant drumbeat of every 2 to 4 minutes, it really depends on what's going on in social media. I've seen situations, for example, when there is an alarm at a university for a possible gunman on campus. And long after the all clear is given, people keep retweeting that a gunman has been seen on campus, and that creates an enormous amount of confusion. That is when I would use the steady drumbeat, and I would program it into Twitter using something like Hootsuite. Now, the best way I still think to get rapid information out is in your crisis communications plan. The bulk of these documents are pre-written news releases. I personally have about 200 of them ready to go at all times. And again, it takes about 10 minutes to fill in the blanks and select the multiple choice and get it approved by your executives so that you're able to get statements out the door in 1 hour or less. The most important thing to remember is that if you don't have a crisis communications plan, and if you don't have a library of these pre-written news releases, you're in trouble. You don't want to be standing and looking at a blank computer screen or a blank piece of paper on your crisis. With the speed of social media, even if you communicate within the first hour of the onset of the crisis, that's still 59 minutes too late. Think about it and start preparing on a clear sunny day so you're ready to communicate effectively on your darkest day. We will be back on Monday with a new question on the BraudCast. To make sure you see that question as soon as we post it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel called The BraudCast. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for your opinions this week. For the BraudCast, I'm Gerard Braud.